Tonight, at some point between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., something is going to happen to you. Your eyes will open, not slowly, not gently. They will snap open, the way they do when something is wrong. Your heart will already be moving faster than it should. Your chest will feel tighter than it did when you fell asleep. The room will be dark, completely dark. And for a few seconds, maybe longer, you will not know why you're awake. Nothing woke you. No sound, no movement, no alarm. Your body did it on its own. And here is what almost no one ever tells you. That is not a malfunction. That is one of the oldest survival systems in the human body switching itself on, right on schedule, the same way it has switched on for hundreds of thousands of years. The question is why? Why 3 a.m. specifically? Why does the body choose that exact hour to pull you out of sleep and flood you with unease? Why does the dark feel different at 3 a.m. than it does at 10 p.m.? Why does your mind go immediately to the worst possible thoughts the moment you open your eyes at that hour? The answer goes back further than you expect. Back to a time before electricity, before houses, before walls, back to when the human body had to survive a night that was genuinely, lethally dangerous. Start with what science actually knows about sleep. Your body does not sleep in one continuous block. It never has. Sleep researcher Roger E. Kirch spent decades studying historical records and made a discovery that completely changed how scientists understand human sleep. For most of human history, people did not sleep for 8 hours straight. They slept in two separate chunks. First sleep ran from roughly dark until midnight. Then people would wake. For an hour, sometimes two. They would be awake in the middle of the night, alert, calm, sometimes talking, sometimes praying, sometimes simply lying still. Then they would fall into second sleep until morning. This was not insomnia. This was normal. It was so normal that historical documents across cultures reference it casually, the way we reference lunch. First sleep and second sleep were simply how humans described their night, and then artificial light arrived, gas lamps, then electric light. Suddenly, the night became available. People stayed up later. The window between dark and sleep shrank. First sleep and second sleep collapsed into one long block. And the natural waking period in the middle of the night, the hour your body had always expected, became something people started calling a problem. But your body did not get the message. It is still running the old program. It still expects to wake somewhere around the midpoint of the night. And when it does, when your eyes snap open at 3 a.m., it is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. But that only explains why you wake. It does not explain why it feels wrong. For that, you have to go back even further. Back to the savanna. Back to the open ground where your ancestors slept without shelter, without fire through the whole night, without anything between them and whatever was moving in the darkness. On the savanna, the hours between midnight and dawn were the most dangerous hours of the night. Predators that hunted primarily in darkness were most active in the period between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Lions, leopards, hyenas. The animals that could kill a sleeping human were most likely to be close during exactly those hours. Your ancestors who survived were the ones whose bodies understood this, the ones whose nervous systems automatically increased alertness during the dark hour, who woke, scanned the darkness, listened, assessed the perimeter before allowing themselves to drift back into vulnerability. The ones who slept straight through were more likely to die. You are descended from the ones who woke up. That hypervigilance, that spike of cortisol and adrenaline that pulls your body out of deep sleep at 3 a.m. is the inheritance they left you. It is not anxiety. It is not a disorder. It is your body doing exactly what kept your bloodline alive across hundreds of thousands of years of genuinely dangerous nights. The problem is that the danger is gone. The predators are gone. The open ground is gone. But the system is still running. And a system built to detect threats in absolute darkness, activated in a warm, quiet room with no actual threats present, has nowhere to direct its energy. So it turns inward. It finds the threats inside your own mind. The unpaid bill, the conversation that went wrong, the future that feels uncertain. The 3 a.m. mind does not distinguish between a lion outside the tent and a worry inside the skull. It treats them identically. It floods the body with the same chemistry either way. This is why 3 a.m. thoughts feel more catastrophic than they actually are. The cortisol that was designed to make you hyper-aware of physical danger is now making you hyper-aware of every unresolved thing in your life. The same biological amplifier that once helped your ancestor hear a predator 40 meters away is now amplifying every fear you forgot to process during the day. Everything feels worse at 3 a.m. because your body is chemically primed to treat everything as a threat. Now consider something even stranger. Across virtually every culture on Earth, 3 a.m. has been given a name. The witching hour, the devil's hour, the hour of the wolf, the thin hour. Almost every human civilization independently arrived at the same conclusion, that the period between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. was different from the rest of the night. That something shifted in that window, that the world became more permeable, more dangerous, more alive with things that could not be seen. Your ancestors were not superstitious. They were accurate. They noticed across thousands of years of lived experience that this hour felt different, that the body responded differently, that the mind went to darker places. They did not have the neuroscience to explain cortisol spikes or the circadian rhythm or the remnants of biphasic sleep. So they explained it the only way available to them, with story, with myth, with the language of the supernatural. The witching hour is ancient humans trying to describe a biological event they could feel but not yet name. And here is what makes this genuinely remarkable. The fact that virtually every culture on Earth independently identified the same hour, gave it the same weight, surrounded it with the same sense of danger and otherness. That is not coincidence. That is evidence. Evidence that the 3 a.m. response is not cultural. It is not learned. It is not a product of horror films or ghost stories. It is written into the body. It has always been there. Every human who has ever lived has felt it. You are not alone at 3 a.m. You are the most connected you will ever be. Connected across time, across culture, across every generation of your species that survived the dark long enough to produce the next one. Your ancestors woke at this hour and listened for predators. You wake at this hour and listen to your own thoughts. The hour is the same. The body is the same. The darkness is the same. Only the predator has changed.